Hello, everybody, and welcome to your 2026 messages. I'm Devon Dewar, and joining me again today is my good friend Chris Reck, tarot master, highly intuitive, and YouTube master from Minnow Pond Tarot. Hi, Chris. How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
It's going. It's always going. I love
It's
it.
always going. Yeah.
I'm doing great. Thank you. But I have to say, this energy has really
Mm,
sped up since the last time you and I got together here on this channel. Last month, we did a message videos about what do you need to know right now for anytime you come across them. And we were talking about how slow the energy is. In
mm.
October, we did this time next year, which was really powerful to kind of get a glimpse into 2026. So we thought, even though you've already done two sets of readings on 2026, I've done a video on 2026 as well with some 5 major themes. Why not bring this energy together and see what else is coming through? Don't you think that'd be interesting to see?
I do.
Well, I want to know with you, since you've already done the 2 sets, which by the way, definitely go check out Minnow Pond Tarot. If you haven't already, definitely subscribe and go watch his videos on that, because I was getting some epiphanies about stuff I'm doing right now before we've even hit 2026. So what are some of the big themes that were coming through for you?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest theme was like everybody needs to have a victory like now, before we actually enter into the new year. So I was like, I think it would be a good year to start on a win, something, even if it's super small. I don't think it has to be anything important. And so that was like the big one. And yeah, also speed came up, things moving very quickly, I told everybody to have like something they do on purpose to recharge their batteries. So, whatever that is for you. And so those were like the two things that really came up a lot
For everybody. Yeah,
for
that
everybody. Yeah.
that really resonates with what I was getting, because one of the things I was sharing with some friends of mine yesterday is when I look at the energy over the last couple of weeks compared to about a month ago, and definitely compared to the beginning of 2025, where everything was seemed to be in retrograde. I mean, not everything, but it felt like it. And you were spot on that you said, look, it's not going to really feel like 2025 until like June, which I
Yeah.
found to be highly true, and spot on. Well, I also have found that I feel almost like 2026 started in December. And
Yeah.
I don't know why that energy is, other than just this collective need for transformation and this collective push towards where we're headed with all the big transits going on in 2026. So is that resonating with what you're getting? Like it's almost like we're already in 2026?
Yeah. And yeah, yes, I think we're like, that's why it's been coming up that people should have a victory like now.
Hmm.
And also in January, we have like those 10 conjunctions. So I think we're starting the year off with a bang for sure. And, so, that's going to be important. I think next year starts in March.
Yeah.
Personally, like I think there are parts of it that started now, but I think it really gets going in March. And so I kind of feel like 50-50 about it. Like some things we need to do now, some things maybe March.
Yeah. And is that because you're feeling like the spring equinox with the 0 degree Aries and maybe the Saturn and Neptune being there for good for a while, that kind of energy?
Yeah, that and also we'll be super close to Uranus moving back into Gemini as well. And so yeah, that's the other thing that came up is that people need to stick out like a sore thumb. Like that is my motto now for next year is, needing to stick out like a sore thumb. If you're going to make an impact or do something next year, I think if you just try to like do it the way everybody else does it, you're just going to be like everybody else. And so I think that going against the grain energy will be important.
I love that. I was just talking to a good friend yesterday about the energy of keeping going when everybody else is dropping out. Like whether you're taking a class or you're trying to get a role in something, it's like when you start to see other people dropping out and giving up, that's when you need to double down, triple down, or quadruple down, as you say, right?
I mean, yeah, I think that I've seen it happen a lot over the past couple weeks with AI, like people saying like, oh, I'm not going to start my YouTube channel because AI is taking over. I'm like, yeah, like, sure, but it's all the same. It
Yeah.
doesn't stick out like a sore thumb,
Yeah.
it all looks the same. I'm like, so yeah, there could be some things that maybe make it more competitive or whatever. Or it's like more AI slop on YouTube, but I'm like, you also have the opportunity here to stand out, to be different. So, definitely don't quit, don't drop out.
Yeah. And like you said, and at least give it till March, because like you
Yeah.
said, I feel that energy's there. And then another thing that we've been talking about a lot lately, you and I, is that we're also moving into the year of the fire horse in Chinese astrology. In fact, February 17th is the new moon where we move into that energy. So it's almost like we're having these big landmarks that are happening, because 3 days later, that's when we have the huge Saturn and Neptune conjunction at the exact degree on February 20th in Aries. And that's another bang energy that you and I are feeling coming in. So it's like we have to go through a lot of these kind of huge shifts in order to be ready to start fresh in the spring, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think that the starting fresh thing is important as well. It's like I think there are a lot of stories people could be holding on to, but we've left the year of the snake, we're entering to the year of the horse. We have to shed our skin and completely leave that stuff in the past. So, things are very different. And, I think people need to realize that as well. So, even personal things, I think that shedding the skin, it's like could be a lot of our insecurities as well that we have to let go of to be able to move forward quickly next year. And that's what I would do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, another thing that I've been talking a lot lately with my channel is the numerology of us
Yeah.
moving. 2025 is a net 9 year, the end of the 1 through 9 numerological cycle. And we're moving into this 1 year. So how much that is amazing that it goes along with the year of the snake ending, leaving things behind. And I've seen this manifesting in my own life, getting rid of furniture I've had since the last time we had the North nodes in the South node where they are now in 2006, which is furniture that I've had since then that I'm like, why am I still holding on to this? And we don't use it. It doesn't resonate with me anymore. And it's something I want out of the house before we move into 2026. Are you having any things like that show up with you or people around you?
Yeah, I think it's Neptune and Pisces, the end of Neptune and Pisces, because it like dissolves things. But it's like I've even noticed things that I used to were really important to me aren't like important to me all of a sudden. Like things that I want, or things that I wanted to go and do. It's like not as important, and so I think a lot of people could feel that. I think it'd be like a little bit scary. It's like I think it's nice to have something to work towards. It's like some sort of goal, or I
Mhm.
always use like a car as an example. Like a lot of people want a fancy car or whatever. It's like nice to have that to work towards, but I do think where it's like maybe the year of the horse will be different motivations, or we have to have a different motivation.
Yeah, absolutely. And it caught my attention that it's also the fire horse. And I'm not a Chinese astrologer. I don't know as much probably as you do or people
Yeah.
listening do, but I keep hearing this energy around the element of fire. And
Hmm.
I think it's sometime in August, we have the nodes moving out of Pisces and Virgo into Aquarius and Leo, more fire. So have you seen
Hmm.
anything around that? And do you feel like there's something around that creative passion energy there?
Yeah, I don't know if it's creative passion. I think that like there's like two things that I always think of with that, and is like being authentic, which has come up a lot in the readings, and the Leo thing. I think people need to shine, which comes up quite a bit. It's
Mm,
like you're gonna have to stand out, get attention for things, but by being authentic.
hmm
If you kind of look at some of the things that are coming up or happening right now, like I even think about YouTube. I get recommended all these videos that are like all these YouTubers that are getting attention for the wrong reasons, right? For doing bad stuff. And I've
hmm
noticed this a lot recently. It just seems like there's more stories than normal about that popping up for me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this is because the universe wants us to like get attention for the right reasons, not the wrong ones, right?
Right. And, I know we'll talk about this more as we get closer to the nodes changing, but one thing to keep in mind is it will be the south node that is moving into Leo. So that's things from your past life gifts, things that maybe have hung on to and need to be released. And another thing
Yeah.
about fire is it is transformation. Fire definitely
Hmm.
transforms whatever it touches. So even though we're coming out of this year of the snake, that's transformation. There still will be a lot of transformation happening in the 1 year with the fire horse.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I just want to let everybody know I am offering a gift for all of you for 2026. It's a free gift. It's an event I'm doing on December 30th. And if you can't join live, it's going to be on Zoom. I will have a replay, but we're going to talk about how to handle this transformation energy for this 9 year going into a 1 year. I had done a numerology event last month that was really successful. I went all the way back to 1908 and talked about every time we ended a 9-year and went into a 1 year. It was fascinating, the themes, but I got a ton of questions. Okay, well, now how do we handle this? Now that we know there's these themes, how do we handle it? So on December 30th, just in time for New Year's, I'm going to do a free event on Zoom. I'll put the link below. It's not going to be here on YouTube, so you do have to sign up to join, but if you can't join live, it will be available for replay. So just sign up below, and we're going to talk about how to handle this transformation energy. Like I said, going from the snake and the 9-year into the 1. And I personally am excited, but I do think we're going to have some reality checks with all this energy that will be in Capricorn as well. Did you feel Mars move into Capricorn yesterday?
Did I yesterday? I don't know how I felt yesterday.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a like a very literal story. So Mars represents the sword or the knife or something cutting, right? It's also ego, and it moved into Capricorn, which as a Capricorn rising, that's my first house, which is your physical body. And it's also, if you see the glyph of it, it's like somebody pointing a finger, right? It's got the
Yeah.
one arrow going. Well, I'm literally washing this old dish I've had probably since 2012, and all of a sudden I sliced my finger on
Oh
it.
no.
It apparently had broken in the dishwasher, and I didn't realize it. And I get this huge slice. It's better now, but it was funny. I like had to laugh at it. I'm like, this is literally Mars in Scorpio. Mars in Capricorn in my first house, cutting through something, getting my attention, and it's the finger pointing. And so then if you want to go even higher, you can even ask yourself, like, am I pointing the finger at somebody? Am I not? Because I like the old when you point a finger at somebody, there's 3 pointing back at you. I like
Back
that
at you,
reminder. So I was kind of like, I feel like there's like higher levels of meaning here. I'm just like, I don't even remember exactly what I was thinking about because it really got my attention, so I forgot. But I was thinking, it's funny how you can know these energies and you can navigate them, and then sometimes they literally play out in your real life, so you have to just kind of laugh with it. Like I feel like that's a lot of the messages you were giving us this year too, like going with the flow, finding something fun, and having a sense of humor. I think is going to be really important for 2026.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, even the other day I did something that I knew I shouldn't have done, and but it's like it's like that gut instinct. I knew I was like, this isn't gonna. This is too good to be true. Like I had that moment like right before I did it, and then I did it, and it was too good to be true. So like I think that is classic.
That is classic. And that's interesting that you're bringing that up, because that was one of the big topics I was getting in my 2026 readings, is how important it is to hone our intuition and then really, really listen
Yeah.
to it, no matter what we're hearing from other people. Because I do think there's going to be, if we thought, like you said, Uranus and Gemini, if we thought we already have people making up stuff and just doing things to ignite things online or whatever, I
Yeah.
think it's going to go to levels we haven't seen before with all this fiery
Yeah.
energy. And it's going to be so important to listen to your intuition first, not what you're seeing on the headlines, or not people calling you up and saying the sky is falling, as you say.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, well then I think we need to talk about let's go through all 12 signs. As always, we
Yeah.
will do the bonus reading at the end. Just don't forget to go check out chrisreck.com. He also has his YouTube channel, Chris Reck. And of course, definitely join Menopon Tarot, because I know a lot of you come over from that, but if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. You are such an influence to me, Chris. You've taught me so much about YouTube.
Good.
And like I said, I listen to all signs. I mean, that's one thing that's always resonated with me. I just put your channel on. I just let it play as I'm going through my day. And some, sign that I don't have any planets on, I never really purposely listen to, you'll have this message for me that just makes my whole body get covered in angel bumps and ready to take action on that guidance. So write down anything that resonates. I do like to remind everybody, it really does give your future self a gift when you write things down, because you're giving your future self the gift of hindsight. And hindsight is one of the most powerful tools for deepening your intuition, connecting with your spiritual team, and really understanding where the energy is guiding you. Don't you think, Chris? I know
I totally agree.
you scribe a lot. You write all the time,
Yeah.
don't you?
I like literally I have like scraps of paper laying around that I write stuff down on, and then I lose it. So, yes.
I hear you. Well, let's get started with these all signs here. I will pop up the icon, and so we can get going. We're going to be doing the 2026 messages for all 12 signs, and then the bonus messages at the end for everybody. So, Chris, what are you getting for Aries for 2026?
Aries, I like this. You have two sixes, which I love. To me, two sixes says you're on the right path. So you have the Six of Cups, Six of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. I would just keep pushing forward. It kind of like two sixes and then the Eight of Cups could be a little bit of hesitation. Like you are moving forward with these two, and then you get to a point where it's like, do I really want to, let go of this thing in my life? Eight of Cups is about not settling. This actually came up a lot. Has come up a lot over the last month for pretty much everyone that there could be some of those things that you should walk away from and then like in the last second you're like, do I really want to leave this thing behind? Do I really want to move forward? And the answer is yes, you do, by the
Mm-hmm.
way. So I would just be careful of holding on to things. But I like the two sixes, and Six of Pentacles, great for Aries starting new things. It's a great card for planting those seeds. So I think it looks really good.
Well, that's interesting because I literally got the 13 card release. Like you said, letting go of
Mm,
something. I do think moving into this year, Aries are going to be really pushed to let go of things from the past, place things in the past that where they felt vulnerable or they felt held back. And then I also have the 10 of Swords card here, which I love that you refer to this as the dead, done, and over with card too. So
yeah.
what I feel like with these two cards together is it's literally saying you already know what you need to let go of. It's so done.
Hmm.
You're so over it, Aries. You're so over it. And I thought it was really cool to, with us going into the year of the fire horse, to use a unicorn deck here. And you have the practice card here, Aries, which is
Mm,
also reminding you that you don't have to get it perfect right off the bat. In fact, nobody really does. And how do you even know when you're going to improve, how you need to improve until you just get out there and do it? So I love that, along with your messages, Chris, to definitely start something now or start something little that you can build on. And yes, you can have that huge bar, like you said, like that big fancy car or fancy house. That could be like where you're headed, but doing something right now that's small is going to help you start pulling that energy in, practicing that new mindset, and staying away from things from the past that have just really held you back from where you're meant to go. So does anything else come up for you with that for the Aries?
Yeah, I mean, Six of Pentacles is starting small, just like a tiny little seed that you're planting here. But I also feel for Aries, like things that aren't worth it. Six of Pentacles,
Mm,
he's giving to this person, not this person. So it's like this person, not worth it. This person is worth it. It's about really being honest about the results you're getting, what you are getting back from what you're investing any type of energy into. So I
mm-hmm.
would be very, I would make sure to be clear on that, especially with Eight of Cups, because Eight of Cups is sent we are sending a signal to the universe with the Eight of Cups. If we stay in the situation that we're settling for, the universe is like, okay, they just want to stay there.
Yeah.
If you don't settle, which can be scary because he's walking through darkness, he's not sure if he's going to find true fulfillment, but at least you're telling the universe what you really want.
I love that. It also came up while you're adding those messages here with this practice card is practice saying no and practice
Mm,
small starts every day. I really think for all of us, it is that daily practice of saying no to the things from the past and saying yes to the new small steps you can take every day towards what your goals are. So
mm,
I love that for the Aries. It's
love
going to
it.
be a
Yeah.
fun 2026 for you guys. All right, Taurus, what are you getting for Taurus for 2026?
Taurus, you have the Ten of Wands, the Eight of Wands, and the Chariot, which is good. The Ten of Wands could say you're like releasing burdens and charging forward with the Eight of Wands and the Chariot. Both are very quick movement cards, especially the Eight of Wands. It is the, quickest movement card. Chariot, just like I said at the beginning of this reading, that, Chariot is about standing out. He's leaving everything he has known behind and he is charging in a new direction. And so I do feel like you're ready to level up. I actually did Taurus's reading this morning, and it is popping into my head for you, Taurus. Your reading this morning was all about like you don't realize how big something could be. Not to
Mm.
talk about myself, but I always think of my channel. It's like when I started my channel, no one had 10,000 subs even on in tarot, and so I thought like 10,000 was the limit, and obviously I'm close to 1 million now. So
Yeah.
I was wrong, but I never in a million freaking years would I have thought that I would get this many subs. So it's like I didn't realize the potential, and why the reason I think that's important is because I think like I would have acted differently had I known. I probably would have done things differently. I mean, I know you can't say that you would have, but I mean, I think I would have. And so if you knew how big something was going to be, you'd probably act differently. And the Cherry is about like really going for it. Really, he completely ignores obstacles because he just blasts right through them. So,
Mm.
how would you act if you knew
Yeah.
here, Taurus?
Yeah, I love that. And, I first of all, I have the Three of Wands here. And so that was making me remind me of celebrating the
Mm,
small wins, because going along the way, using your example, building up to
yeah.
10,000 and then to 30,000, and those wins all along the way, celebrating each time you're reaching those little landmarks, even if it's just in connection with people that are the people that you want to have these successes with. Because I also have this Nine of Swords card here and this love card. And what's coming up for me with that is that, it is painful to put yourself out there and really be
Mm,
vulnerable with another person. But ultimately, the prize is the love you get. So it could be the love for a
mm,
project that you're putting out there. It could be the love for a relationship you're finally deciding to get back out there again. It could be the love for your art form and the things you're doing, where, like they used to say, they probably still say this in sales, like every time you hear a no, you're that much closer to a yes. Isn't that? I don't even know if that's really
yeah.
true anymore, but that was something you used to hear for sales, the sales world. And I do feel like, it might be painful. This Nine of Swords, it's like you're just tired of hearing no. It's painful, but you're still going. You're still figuring out where to turn, and really, honestly, the answer is always, I hate to be cliche, but love. I mean, go for the thing you love and do it with other people that you love working with, or surround yourself with people in the environment that you love doing. It's the age old advice that you'll hear people give, if let's just use the example, if they do want to find their ideal romantic partner, well, you got to go do the things you would want to do with that partner before you're going to meet that person. You got to put yourself in that environment, so that you're in that energy and you're attracting those people. And I feel like that you could apply this to whatever it is that you're focused on for 2026. It's literally following the things that you love doing that bring in this celebration energy and get you out of this Nine of Swords energy. So what else is coming up for you with the Three of Water and Nine of Swords?
Yeah, I tell Taurus all the time, that they have to follow their heart more than anything else right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's not, it doesn't even have to be a person, just what
Mm-hmm.
you love to do. And so,
Right.
I think that, yeah, that is the answer for Taurus. The more they
Yeah.
do that, the better.
Yeah, and I think, I am surrounded by Tauruses. I know you always joke, as a Cancer sun
Yeah.
sign, no surprise, I'm married to a Taurus.
Yeah.
But both of my team members are Tauruses. I've got family members and lots of good friends that are Tauruses. And I like to remind you guys that, I went through a cowgirl phase in my early 20s. So I was around horses and cattle a lot, and rarely did you ever see, almost never did I ever see more than one bull inside one pen. It was one bull per
Hmm.
pen. You might have other cattle there, but you only had one bull. And why is that, Taurus? Because your energy needs to feel safe and secure. And you need to be careful about who you share your energy with. But eventually,
Hmm.
you do have to decide to get out there and go and find, a bigger, better pasture or whatever. So I love using the glyphs for that energy, and I always just it makes me laugh with my Taurus loved ones, who they're totally fine to stay at home in their creature comforts, and it's a little bit of a push
Hmm.
to get them out the door, but then they
Yeah.
shine when they do. So
Yeah.
so I'm excited to see you guys shine in 2026, Taurus. Alrighty. What do you have? Let's see. Let me switch the glyph there. What do you have for Geminis in 2026, Chris?
Gemini, you have the Judgment card, the Seven of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. So, Judgment could be like waking up to your purpose, which, again, I think, like, to me, Uranus in Gemini is Gemini.
Yeah.
To me, even though you're ruled by Mercury, I mean, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury anyway. So, to me, I think that, Uranus is like the perfect planet for you this year.
Mhm.
And, it is your superpower, being able to mix ideas together, being able to make connections that other people can't. Sticking out like a sore thumb, Gemini, like we said at the beginning of this reading, would be good for you as well. But these people have to leave their old life behind. They have to like get out of that coffin and step into the new world. So it's like facing the fears. I would be looking at like what you're trying to protect yourself from. Sometimes
Mhm.
that's the only thing that's popping into my head with these two cards. It's like sometimes we try to protect ourselves from things that are exactly what we need. And
Mhm.
so it's like, that's the question that's popping into my head for Gemini. It's like, what are you protecting yourself from? Because that's probably the thing, that you need to face to get to where you're going.
Yeah. Well, I've got the Three of Earth card here, and I really feel it talks about talent and recognition, collaboration. I think you're protecting yourself from being seen, or you have
Mm,
been. And with Uranus coming into your sign, that's a thing of the past. We have
yeah.
a Queen of Wands card here, and we have the hello and goodbye card. So it literally is like saying hello to the new you, the new era for Geminis, and goodbye to the past. And you could apply this to wherever you have Gemini in your chart, because we're all going to feel that Uranus energy coming in there and cutting through the things that are old that need to go, getting rid of the things that are not moving along with the energy. And this Queen of Wands card is saying, you've got this opportunity to wave that magic wand and get whatever you want when you walk in the room. But first, you have to be willing to be recognized. You have to show your talent, and possibly be willing to work with others in a way that you're not normally comfortable doing, but it's going to be worth it in the end. In fact, I've been getting this for a lot of Geminis too, that you've been waiting to kind of announce this new thing. And some of you started to kind of do it in 2025, especially when Uranus first dipped into your sign. But it was still, you were a little trepidatious. You were a little nervous about how people were going to view it. And now it's just, you've had enough of a taste of it. It feels like that you're like, I'm not going back to the old me that, hid in the spiritual closet or didn't share my true passions and dreams with others. And you're moving on to this Queen of Wands energy in 2026, which I really love for the Geminis. Is anything coming up for you with these, with the Three of Earth and the Queen of Wands?
Yeah, and the Seven of Wands,
Oh,
like you said, needing to open up, needing to not be too guarded, and also realizing that you're ready. This can be a card that represents waiting for the perfect moment when there never will be a perfect moment. So, like, the time is now is, what that's saying for Gemini.
yeah, and I also feel like with that Three of Earth card too, your environment should be encouraging you to be vulnerable and share and make decisions. So maybe you do need to have like 2 or 3 friends that are your go-to people when you need to get off the fence about something and just go ahead and make a decision. I know a lot of times we talk about like protect your creations, don't just go share your ideas with the world. But then also, if you're stuck and not being able to like take one of those ideas and get action on it, then get a coach, get a mentor, get somebody you trust to help you with just going ahead and making that decision. I think that could really help the Geminis in 2026. Anything else?
Totally agree.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
and that comes up for Gemini a lot. The Three of Pentacles, Three of Cups. That I'm always telling them to focus on their like concentrated connections, those
Mm,
really close connections. And the whole thing with sharing, I always say it's like, yeah, it's true you shouldn't share maybe with everybody, but it's like it's been proven time and time again that actually if you share it with the right people, you're more likely to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. It's about sharing it with the people who like push you along.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've got good Gemini family members and Gemini friends, and, asking them to decide where we're eating for dinner. That we might miss dinner. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's usually somebody in the car who's willing to be like, I just want to go here, and the Gemini's like, okay, fine, let's go there.
Great. Yeah.
And so I feel like, yeah, just surrounding yourself with those supportive people who can be like, you're on it, you've got it, you're right, let's go. So that's going to be exciting for the Geminis for sure. All right, what are you getting for the Cancers for 2026, Chris?
Cancer, you have the Three of Wands, the Five of Cups, and the Three of Cups here. So, Three of Wands expansion. I do feel it could be a very expansive year for Cancer if
Mm-hmm.
they, put themselves out there, go on those new adventures,
Mm-hmm.
move in new directions. I think like Five of Cups is like old stuff, old stories that Cancer has to let go of and move past, and letting go of things that just didn't work, plain and simple. He's grieving the loss of something that he no longer enjoys, but he's spending so much time doing it, he's like ignoring the opportunity that's right here behind him. So that's what I would focus on. You have the Three of Cups, which is like, you're about to find something better anyway. And so I feel that, Cancers could be expanding towards like better opportunities, better people, better situations. That's what I'd be focusing on. I do think, one random thing I will say about the Three Cups though is I do think like Cancers need to like should. I mean, you don't need to do anything. You can do whatever you want, but I would like try to have a bigger harvest this year. That could be financially, could be something like I would, do the work is like definitely popping
Mm-hmm.
into my head. You might have to challenge yourself a little bit. Not like these are bad challenges, but just like, push yourself a little bit so that you can create a bigger result.
Yeah, and I mean, well, so we were talking about all this Aries energy that's squaring your
Mm,
sign, but everyone
right.
always, a lot of times people say square is bad, but really what it is, it's an opportunity to turn in a new direction. It's a 90-degree
Yeah.
angle, so you have a chance to say, "Whoa, I've just hit a wall. This isn't fun. Let's go in a new direction where I'm not stuck in this corner." And so I that really resonates with me, Chris, about the idea of just pushing yourself a little more than you normally would, and you might realize, wow, I was missing all these opportunities. Now, I have the awakening card. So that's the hangman card that's looking at things from a different perspective. So that's, to me, is just totally validating what you said there, Chris, and just taking that chance. I do think Cancers probably need to get outside the home a little more too, and
Mm,
travel a little bit more, and be willing to go on a little bit more adventures. Like I said, with the Tauruses, same goes for Cancer. We tend to want our
hmm.
nurturing environment, our home, our space, our creature comforts, which is totally fine. But be willing to get out there and have a little bit more adventures. The Seven of Wands card here too. I love how you describe this card. I'll let you talk about it in a minute, but I do often, when I see this card, I do often think about what's behind the whoever's being depicted there. This actually has a crocodile
Yeah, I like it.
sitting there. Yeah, it's cool. But just this idea that, like, there's things going on behind the crocodile that maybe they don't even realize, and it's sitting here trying to ward off all these other battles down here or keep people at bay. So yes, you want to protect your things that you're manifesting, but is it even worth it, And so then I also have this water card, which is very appropriate for a water sign, Cancer. You still have Jupiter in your sign at the time we're recording this. You also have the final pass of Neptune and Saturn in Pisces trining your sign until, well, actually, is it January that one of them moves? It's,
Yeah,
we go
Neptune, January
Neptune.
26th.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, end of January is the first time we have that out of there, and then Saturn in February. So take advantage of the energy that you've been able to immerse yourself in. But I do think that with all this fiery energy coming in, like I said, squaring your sign, it's actually going to be an opportunity to do more exciting things. And I do feel like actually you're going to be more motivated than you've been in the past to push
Mm.
yourself and get outside your comfort zones. So, what are you getting for these cards? The Awakening card, the Seven of Wands, and the Water card.
Yeah, definitely in comfort zones. I mean, 3 of Wands, it's like the opportunity's in front of him. He just has to take it. He just has to be brave enough to face it. I always tell a story, like in high school, I had to go to this camp thing that I didn't want to go to because I'm a Pisces. I just want to stay home. But it's like I went, I did it, and I didn't want to leave, like when it was over, right? It's that I think that will happen a lot to Cancer this year, where it's like there's opportunities in front of you. It's like if you take those opportunities, you're not going to want them to end, but
Yes.
looking at them, they might be a little scary. So,
Yeah.
that's what I feel there.
Yeah, and just like with the Geminis, maybe talk to somebody you
Yeah.
trust to check in. If it's, you're like, is this my intuition telling me not to go, or is this just me being afraid of being vulnerable or trying something new? That's a great time to surround yourself with others and see, like, what adventures should I take on and what should I walk away from, like with the Seven of Wands, right?
Yep.
I love that for the Cancers. All right. What are you getting for 2026 for the Leos, Chris?
Leo, you have the Knight of Swords, the Page of Wands, and the Queen of Wands, which is pretty good. The Wands energy for you, Leo, I would definitely be taking advantage of that charging forward energy. I think Leos need more fun. The Queen of Wands, she really follows her bliss, her joy.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a long-term theme for Leo in my readings that,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a lot of the things they do, I think they're making decisions for other people and, or because of other people in their life. And like, I feel this year, I've said this to Leo that I think it's time for them to make those decisions for themselves. Like not, I think Leos always think of other people first, which is fine. But, at the same time, I think it's time for you to like put yourself first, basically, Leo, and not be like, oh, I'm making this decision because I don't want to like upset people or I need to take care of my family and all this other stuff. It's kind of like a weird paradox for Leo because in some ways I think they could be making decisions for their family, for example. And it's like, of course, we all have to make those decisions, but it's like actually the decision you make for yourself will probably be the one that is better for your family in the first place. So
Mm,
it's like a little bit of that like weird energy. As Leo always gets the Knight of Swords with me, and it's like sometimes I think the Knight of Swords says nothing is true in a weird way. We
mm,
can jump to conclusions with the Knight of Swords. We can like assume things with the Knight of Swords, and I feel it's saying be willing to like feel things out, right?
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I think that would be good for Leo.
I love that because, of course, I got the Knight of Air, the Knight of Swords
There you
too,
go.
and you
Yeah.
said you always get it for Leo. So here we go,
Yeah.
validating
Always.
that. So that's a really powerful validation there, and I definitely feel that way about looking at things as like, is this really true, and what are my
Right.
perspectives that are doing that, and am I going with an impulsive thought and
Mm,
getting really wrapped up in something that isn't actually something that can manifest or is even possible in this reality. We have the Two of Swords card here too. So again, that was resonating with me about just making a decision and doing it for you, doing it for what your heart
hmm
wants. Leo's, I feel like you get a bad rap for being so sensitive, but it's because you have this huge heart and this
hmm
ability to zero in on the love of something and to zero in on where you need love. And so I feel like sometimes Leos will get that feedback from people around them, like, oh, you're so sensitive, or oh, you're so needy about wanting this thing. And it's like, no, I'm just honest. Like, I think that's the thing
hmm
that Leos need to own. No, I'm just telling you what I need. If you told me what you need, you might get it too. And I think Leos have been hurt by sharing their heart and what they need in the past. So it leaves them a little, like I said, on the fence, not making a decision, but it's always going to be the decision that gets you up in the morning and is right for your heart. I actually literally have this "you'll know in the morning" card.
mm,
That was not on purpose that I said it that way, but it is true. I think when you're questioning something, Leos, sleep on it. Ask your spiritual team for guidance at night. You don't have to remember your dreams. You can download it without remembering your dreams. And then when you wake up in the morning, see how you feel and ask yourself, like, what's getting me out of bed today? Is it the project I'm doing? Is it the person I'm seeing? Is it the activity I'm starting or want to do a part of? And if you don't have an answer for that, this is your sign. This is your homework. Find it, because you have a lot of opportunity for that with all this fiery energy coming in that's going to trine your sign. So you were giggling there. Did you have any thoughts on that with these?
Yeah, you said I don't remember exactly what you said, but you said something about their kind of like getting things from other people or, getting that love from other people as well. And yeah, I mean, I do think that like you have to provide all those things for yourself, first.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I would, that's Queen of Wands, she really fulfills herself first.
Mm-hmm.
Again, she's following the sun, which is you.
Yeah.
And so I think that Leo needs to like follow themselves right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's and honestly, like, we all are being asked to do that with this
Yeah,
energy coming in. It's just a little easier for some of the other, signs out there,
yeah.
the cardinal signs and everything. So I agree with you, and just filling up that cup first before you're able to share it with anybody else or for it to be reciprocated is going to be really important for Leos. So
Yep.
I love that. All right, moving on to Virgos. What are you getting for Virgos for 2026?
Virgo, you have the Queen of Cups, the World, and the Four Swords. I really do feel like uh, Virgos could be becoming famous this year as well. So like but I'm not saying like literally, but you could be getting a lot of more attention. It just seems to me like Virgo always gets these cards of standing out in the world, getting attention, things like that. But I think it's again, with the Queen of Cups there, it's going to be with like something that you're vulnerable about, something you don't want to share. It's funny. I always
Mm-hmm.
tell a story also about I have a good friend, and he's like an amazing sculptor. Like it's crazy. He sculpts these sculptures that look like humans. Like that, I've never seen anything as good, right? But he hides all his sculptures behind his couch. I talk about him all the time because I'm trying to get him to like put them out into the
Mm-hmm.
world, right? But he just hides them, and so it's like, what are you afraid to share as well? Is kind of like probably the thing that will make you very successful, Virgo. So
Mm.
it's like that perfection thing. It's like he
Yeah.
probably. I always think about him. And don't worry, people always say, like, why are you talking about your friends? I'm like, I say these things right to his face. I have zero filter. So, like, he knows that all this right now. And, but like, he probably sees things that we don't. Like, I think Virgos
Mm-hmm.
have that critical eye where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you are like 10 billion times more critical of yourself than anyone ever will be. So, again, I think it's about kind of like putting things out into the world with the world. Four Swords, definitely, I think it's going to be a very busy year for Virgo. So, having something you do to recharge your batteries, like I said at the beginning of this reading, very, very important, I think, for Virgo with the Four Swords.
Yeah, that resonates so much. Well, I have the Page of Air card. So I definitely feel like being critical of yourself is something that you're transforming out of with this energy, Virgo. I also have the Strength card here and the It's Okay to Be Different card. So very validating of everything you were saying. But what was really resonating with you is listening to the story about your friend. I'm not a sculptor. I know very little bit about it. But what I do know about being a good sculptor is the start of the sculpture is every bit as important as what you see on the outside. And most people don't realize how much time and effort goes into the inside structure of a sculptor before you're even beginning to see it take form into something, which is a very Virgo thing, to understand all the little tiny things that need to happen in order to manifest this beautiful, amazing thing that actually has enough strength, the Strength card here, to be a statue and be durable and be something that it has 3D form. So I really actually love that analogy for the Virgos is think of the things that you recognize on the inside of something that you could bring out into the world, and people will see that. They will see you as a strong leader. And I really feel like, again, It's Okay to Be Different. You were talking about being critical of themselves, and I definitely see where they also get a bad rep for pointing out the things that are off or not in alignment or seem to be a waste. And but that's what's needed. I think that's your power, Virgos, is understanding the internal structure that needs to happen in order to bring something to life on the outside. So I loved what you're saying about being famous is really being seen for all these abilities you have within you. So did anything else come up for you with that Page of Air Strength card?
Yeah, and also, with the world, it's like creating from two places. She has two wands. She creates from, she brings her vision down to earth, like manifesting wise, and she also, the other wand is like taking action. It's the action she takes. So, I feel like that's perfect for Uranus and Gemini, mixing two energies together. So, I would be using both here, Virgo.
Yeah, and you had those powerful eclipses in 2025 that were kind of pushing you to break the mold anyways. So look, you're showing the world how strong you are. You're still here, and we love you for it, Virgos.
And more eclipses to come in your
More
sign,
to come.
so,
That's right. They're like, wait, don't tell me that.
yeah.
Yeah, we will have our first I think we will have an Aquarius one in February.
Yeah.
That's actually, I think that's the new moon on the 17th, the Chinese New Year. So that's going to be an interesting energy.
Yeah, interesting.
We'll have to talk about that more when it gets closer, for sure. But mark your calendars for that. All right, moving on to the Libras. What are you getting for the Libras for 2026, Chris?
Libra, you have the Two of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. So the Two of Swords is like this or that thinking, very Libra. But there's like a third place over here. It's like you might be trying to balance something out, but you might just need to throw your balance away with the Two of Swords and go this way behind you, like she does, because she has like this third place over here. So it's like about not one side or the other with the Two of Swords. It's very interesting. I've even noticed with Libras, even in the comments and stuff. I've seen a lot of this like one issue or the other. This like trying to balance things out that maybe can't be balanced out, or again maybe you're meant to bring in a different solution. So something I would think about. Knight of Pentacles, I feel pretty good about the Knight of Pentacles. I don't really like the Knight of Pentacles, but sometimes I feel good about it. So I feel like you're making progress here. Love has been, I think Libra has someone all up in their business. I mean, I don't even know if you know Libra. Maybe you don't, but I think someone is interested in you. So if you're looking for love, that's also, 2026 could be a love year for you.
Yeah, why don't you like the Knight of Pentacles? Because it's not moving?
He's the only one not moving. Yeah, he has it's just like wasted potential. Sometimes he has all that the empty fields behind him. He knows everything. He's everything about him. These leaves, these are oak leaves on his helmet, and it just says he has all this knowledge and wisdom, but he has to use it. He has to do something with it. And so sometimes I feel progress on him, sometimes I don't. But I do feel good for you, Libra. I think you are making progress.
Yeah, I do feel good for Libras too, and I definitely love it to ask my Libra friends for their viewpoints on certain things where people are really argumentative, because they do a good job of seeing both sides. I have the Eight of Fire here: speed, activity, multitasking, kind of going with what you were saying too with the Two Swords, like maybe needing to put down the talk and just do, or maybe just put down one of these ones so that you can focus on something different. And I do also have the Magician card here. So yeah, I feel like it's also an energy of finally using all that gift, the knowledge and the things that you've experienced, and transforming something within your life for that. That could be any area of your life. Like you said, could be relationships, but it could also be something with your career, something to do with your health and fitness, where you're trying to transform the way you're moving through your day. And I have this try something new card here too. And I do think what was coming up for me when I first saw it was something around daily routine, Libras, that maybe you could start bringing something new into your daily routine that you haven't tried before. And that's going to expose you to these opportunities to use your knowledge and energy in a different way. And actually what I'm seeing too is that it's probably going to be quite quickly, once you start this new thing, that you see people acknowledging you for your wisdom in a different way. Like they're telling you you're good at something you've never really thought about. You're like, oh, I guess I am. I kind of just do that without even thinking about it. And everyone's like, well, how do you do that? Tell me, show me how to do this. Be my partner in this. And just getting out there and doing something new, kind of like we were talking about with the Cancers, which, Libra, you square Cancer. So it could be interesting that you might be pushed out the door a little more than normal too with this new thing. Just be ready for things to take off. Be ready to use your knowledge and wisdom in a way you haven't before. Has anything else come up for you with those cards?
Yeah, and I just think that they have to move forward. I guess not. It's like, I think you could give yourself a kick in the ass here, with
Mm.
the Knight of Pentacles. I think that you could, he even has the what do you call these things? I don't know. I've lost
Spurs.
my
The
the
Spurs.
Spurs, right.
Yeah.
It's almost like you do have your own thing that can motivate you, and
Yeah.
I think you have to use that, Libra, is what I feel.
I love that. This is kicking the butt. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, I think that
Libra,
that
yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense because it's like it's the something new card too. It's just not getting stuck
Hmm.
in and doing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, Libras, let
Yeah.
us know in the comments what something new you're doing. And I should have said that up front. Let us know in the comments what sign you're listening to. Of course, I encourage all signs, but I love to see where everyone's tuning in from, and also what their main signs are. It's fun to read and like interpret their comments through that. So love
Yeah.
it. All right, we're moving on to the Scorpios. What are you getting for the Scorpios for 2026?
Scorpio, I think I told Scorpio to expose themselves this year. But I specifically said, like, don't go streaking. That's not, we're
Yeah,
not talking about that
I
type of
remember that.
exposure here.
Yeah,
I think it was Scorpio. I don't remember who it was that I said
yeah.
that to, but yeah, I definitely feel that. It's weird to me that you get the Hermit, like every single reading I do, Scorpio, which is interesting. That it could be love. I mean, I've known a lot of Virgos that have dated Scorpio, so I mean, maybe it's a thing, I guess, but I really think this is about you putting yourself out there, kind of like exposing your needs and
Hmm.
things like that as well. I remember saying, I think it was with Devon, I'm pretty sure at the beginning of this year, I was talking about how like I felt like 2025 was a year where Scorpio was like going, like you have all these rocks around you. You live under a rock because you're a Scorpion, but it's like now you're like you in 2025 explored some different rocks to live under. And now I'm like wondering if you're like 2026 is you stepping out into the force, like not even trying to protect yourself, right? It's like if you're living under a rock, you're trying to protect yourself. But
Yeah.
the thing is, I didn't even say this. You have the Seven of Swords and Seven of Cups. Two sevens to me is internal fears that don't exist, and so the Seven of Swords can be lying, cheating, stealing, but really, it's really a card of him doing something in a different way. Seven of Cups is like imaginary things that you're
Hmm.
imagining that might not exist. I always say like there are good things and bad things in the seven cups here, but he doesn't know what's going to happen unless he like gets out there, goes on the adventure, figures it out. So that's what I feel for Scorpio. It's like time for you to figure it out
Yeah, and
and
I did
have more fun.
more fun for sure, and yeah, enjoying like the romances of daily life. I feel like for
Yeah,
sure. I mean, that's what I'm getting with this Nine of Water card.
that's
What do you have?
he has these polka dots on his cloak. I actually I'm going to steal that, by the way, because
Okay.
I think that is like the perfect thing to say. The romance of life. It's like the polka dots in the tarot represent taking things too seriously. It's like
Hmm.
he needs to enjoy the process. He
Hmm.
needs to enjoy the things he's going through, and the polka dots remind him of that. So
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah, that resonates. And I was getting it too for Scorpios for 2025 about needing to step into the spotlight,
Yeah.
which, my Scorpios that I know, they like their cozy rainy days because they can bundle up on
Yeah.
the couch under their blanket and everything. Like, no, I like my dark corner. But I've also seen a lot of you take the steps to start getting out there, and you really are going to be rewarded by that in Nine of Water if you keep going. Like you said, getting out into the forest. And I have the Six of Wands card here, which I really feel like is like you finally getting seen for the knowledge you have. And it brings in, this literally says you are gifted, you are very intelligent and talented. Okay, this is your chance to share that with the world here in 2026. So it's like whatever you kind of got started in 2025, and believe me, all 12 signs, we all felt the energy of trying to get something started and it's just not moving. Yeah. So that's okay if it's not as far along as you wanted, but like you were talking about, Chris, remembering to enjoy the journey. And I'm just as guilty as the next person of get there-itis. I'm like, oh no, we're going to enjoy the journey. But then as soon as we leave, I'm like, okay, let's go. What time are we going to get there? I want to get unpacked. That's probably just my Capricorn rising, but I really do like have to remind myself that, oh, we're on vacation the moment we leave the house. Like, let's be in that energy. And this Six of Wands is just letting you know that, you're going to get seen this time. Maybe it's that you've tried getting out there before and you just felt like nobody was giving you the credit that you deserve. And I always like to remind Scorpios that you guys don't give yourself enough credit for how you're able to see things other people don't, and you're able to pinpoint it. And so when you walk into a room and you're like, that's not working, it needs to change, and everybody else is like, where did you come from? You kind of have to wait for them to get on board, right? Like you have to be like, well, let's use our talents and knowledge to explain why that's not going to work. Even though you're right, it just takes a little time. So maybe you can go out and go for a walk and wait for it to sink in how right you were about that, Scorpios. Anything else you want to add to this, the Six of Wands and the Nine of Water?
Not really. I mean, I think that one thing I will say for Scorpios is like, safety zones, comfort zones, whatever you want to call them. It's like I do think I don't feel for Scorpio that they have to do something completely new. But it's like maybe inside of what you're doing right now, you have to do something new. And so I definitely wouldn't like, I think it's a bad time to play it safe in general. There is no safe. You know, a random ass asteroid like 3i Atlas that they haven't seen before could absolutely land on our heads. Like, I don't know what everybody's worried about. That's what I keep saying to people. It's like people keep telling me about all these horrible things that are happening. I'm like, yeah, but it's like, robots could take over random asteroid. It's like, what is there to worry about?
Right.
And so I would let those fears go there, Scorpio.
Yeah, that's a really good reminder for all 12 signs is the concept of surrender to this energy. I mean, we're not burying our head in the sand, but what's not in our control, leave it be. It's just taking you out of the present. So yeah, I love that. All right, moving on to the Sagittarius sign. What are you getting for Sagittarius for 2026, Chris?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about this set. You have the Two of Pentacles, which can be busy, spinning plates, doing a lot, Justice, and the Three of Wands. But I feel like you could be busy. I mean, you are kind of a horse. So, you could be using that horse energy and a fire horse, by the way. So, to do a lot. Two of Pentacles, work hard, play hard. We need to balance the energy. But you have the Justice card right here. So you probably are just naturally balancing the energy. What stood out to me here is the purple. Purple is like the royal color in the tarot. So, there might be some sort of crown that you could claim at this time. And, think about your own card, Temperance, right? There's a glowing crown in the background of your own tarot card. So, maybe it's time for Sag to claim their crown. Like with everybody else, it's going to require expansion. Again, I think the comfort zone thing is too tempting for everybody right now. I've said this before to a lot of people, but I think that that's what we have to get away from. I always blame Pluto and Capricorn. I think Pluto and Capricorn is like we go up, we go down, we go up, we go down, and like we're too used to that. So like once we develop a certain level of comfort, it's like we don't want to create something new because we think that will go down, and really we won't. And so I would be trying new things, expanding, trying to claim your crown here, Sag.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I have this renewal card here for the Sages, and I feel like it's like a renewed level of energy and faith and where you're going. I think in the past, I've got this also this Decide card and this Queen of Swords card. Whoops. The Queen of Swords card here, which I love this owl on here. I feel like, in the past, you've shared your brilliant ideas, you've shared your knowledge, and people just, it didn't land in the way that it was meant. It's not that you had the right intention. They weren't ready to hear it. They weren't ready to get on board. And I feel like now you're having this like renewed sense of, all right, I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to do it my way this time. And then you're going to feel like you're finally being heard. Because I feel like this Queen of Swords card is really reminding you, you've done a lot of work, over the last since Pluto went into Capricorn and Neptune went into Pisces, you've done a lot of work to hone your knowledge and your skills and your gifts of communication. And you are the life of the party and the person who has the right wording and the right aesthetic to something. And in the past, when you've tried to show somebody, hey, let's do it this way, let's present it this way because it'll be received, they were so stuck in their own world, they just couldn't see how brilliant that was. And so I think what you're going to see in 2026 is that you're going to have a chance to decide to let go of those times in the past where you weren't seen for your Queen of Swords energy, and you're going to say, I'm doing this, come hell or high water. I'm sorry, but it's like, no, I'm gonna share my gifts for the world in the way that I'm meant to. So is that resonating with you with the Queen of Swords and the renewal card?
Yeah, I think sharing their gifts comes up for them a lot. So, even the Three of Wands is about taking up more space. And, I think, which I, definitely feel is something that everybody has to do right now anyway. But because I think what we're feeling is empty space, if
Yeah.
people who feel weird or feel the energy is off. And so, you should fill it with your good ideas here, Sag.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really good point. I have been hearing a lot of people talking about the energy feeling off. And when you said
Yeah.
empty space, one of my mentors talks about the universe doesn't like a vacuum. So if you don't have something intentionally in that space, the universe is going to put something there anyways. So do you want to have a say in that? Do you want to, guide that? Do you want to be a little, careful about what's allowed in? And I think with this fiery energy, Chris, this is what was downloading while you're talking about that is, fire needs oxygen to really go. And so if you think about a big space that has more oxygen, you want to have a little bit of control of the burn. You want a controlled burn, not a, out of control one. So that's really fascinating that you brought that in. It's almost like we're being asked to really get clear on what do we want in our environment, all of us, so that it's not an empty space. And it's okay to, like we talked about, get rid of the old furniture and get new, but at least have a vision of what's going in there before you're just letting it sit there, collect dust, Yeah. Sorry, that really resonated with me, what you said about the empty space. I feel like with everybody. Okay, that was Sag. So now we're on Capricorns. What are you getting for Capricorn for 2026?
Capricorn, you have the Four Swords, the Hangman, and the Two of Cups. So you're sleeping on something here, Capricorn, and probably something you've been thinking about for a very long time. Could be love, but it doesn't have to be with the Two of Cups. I always say Two of Cups can be your communication with your higher self, and I think that you've been thinking about a lot. As I always say, I mean, I have a ton of Capricorn in my chart. I've been thinking about the same thing like for 2 years now and haven't done anything about it. So. Probably time this year. Could be a good time to take action on whatever it is that you've been thinking about doing. And, this person is like hoping and praying for a blessing. There's a person being blessed right here. It's like, you could have this blessing, Capricorn, whatever it is, whatever. It could be multiple things, I feel, for some of you as well. The Hangman kind of says like you're ready to move forward towards it and enough. And then the Two of Cups would be you getting it. And so I would go for it with the Two of Cups.
Yeah, that's really, I love that. And, I love how you always remind us to listen to our opposite signs too.
Yeah,
and,
right.
As a Cancer sun, Capricorn is my opposite. It just also happens to be my rising sign. So a lot of times your Capricorn messages hit home sooner, and then adding the sun sign to it kind of makes me see how it's possible. You know what I mean? And I really get that for Capricorns too. We have the World card here. So getting out there in a bigger way and trusting that the world is yours, like that you have the world in your hands. Like it's just a matter of really doing it. Now I do have the Temperance card here and the Light card, which for me really resonated with when you talked about the Two of Cups being communication with your higher self, because I think Capricorns can sometimes forget to call in that spiritual help. You have your guardian angels, you have archangels, you have people on your spiritual teams, souls and energies that are willing to help you. You don't have to carry the burden on your own. Now, you are good at that. You're good at climbing the mountain, so to speak, right? Or you're good at waiting. I like how you use the old traditional symbol of the crocodile for Capricorns, and how they're willing to wait and conserve their energy until they take action. But just remember, you're going to get all the intuitive signs to act when necessary, to strike when the time is right, if you're really connected on a daily basis. So I think you and I both have gotten this for Capricorns for at least the last few years, that Pluto was telling you when it went through your sign that you're not doing things the way you used to anymore. You're the new Capricorns now. And the first thing a Capricorn is doing now is checking in with their intuition to see if it's the right time to act, if there's a more innovative way. And they're not trying to do it all on their own. They're willing to bring a team with them, even if it's your higher self. You've got to have that divine connection there to support you, so that you can really understand how you really do have the whole world available to you. So anything else coming up for you for the Capricorns with that? The Temperance and the
Yeah,
world?
maybe you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't know how to say this, but we have this lion here. It's like the ego. It's like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we don't do something as well, it is ego getting in the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think people think of ego as like being a jerk or something like
Yeah.
that. But this is different. It's like the ego of not doing something is also ego, right?
Yeah, I know. That resonates.
Do
It's
you
like,
get what I'm saying?
yeah, it's like when I was studying the stock market in my college years, the not buying or selling a stock is still a choice, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like it's the not making a decision is still a decision. Not taking an
Yeah.
action is still an action. I feel like that's what you're talking about. And a lot of times it's our own ego
hmm
getting in the way. It's our own fear. And that was one of the things that I had studied, like with Warren Buffett. He always talked about, he buys and holds, but
hmm
that's a decision. And then he says,
Yeah.
sell your losers, keep your winners. Those are decisions you're
hmm
making too. But every day that you're not selling a stock or you're not buying a stock, that's a decision.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's either out of fear that you're going to lose the money or fear that you're missing out on a gain. And so that's like a really, I guess, analytical way to look at it. But it does feel like we forget that we're making a decision by not doing
hmm
something. And a lot of times it's our own fears getting in the way, for sure.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, moving on for the Aquarius for 2026. What are you getting for the Aquas for 2026, Chris?
I think it's pretty simple, Aquarius. You have the Page of Pentacles, Four of Wands, and the High Priestess. This to me would be like committing to new potential. Four of Wands can be marriage, and Page of Pentacles could be a new person, but just bigger picture here.
Mm-hmm.
High Priestess is unlimited potential. We always look at her as mysteries, intuition, all that other stuff, but really she has no roof over her head, and it
Mm-hmm.
represents unlimited potential. I think I'm pretty sure I've said this to Aquarius before, but I think they need to like peek behind the curtain. They have to, it's like sometimes there are things that we have to do we don't want to do to make something a success.
Mm-hmm.
Like not really ever a big deal. I mean, there are even things about reading online that I don't necessarily like love doing, but I also don't hate it because it's part of the process. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
willing to do it to make things work. And I kind of feel like the High Priestess is it's like saying there are some things that maybe wouldn't be so glamorous about whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, but it's about like being willing to look at those things so that you can reach the full potential
Mm-hmm.
of whatever you're committing to. As I've said to Aquarius all year, I think that if you're going to do something, you got to make that like 110% commitment. So like I wouldn't just dabble in anything. Anything worth doing, I think, is going to be worth the full commitment.
Yeah, that really resonates with what I'm getting. I'm getting the Queen of Water card here, and I know that's
Hmm.
definitely an energy that the psychic ability, the intuitive ability that the Aquas have
Hmm.
available to them, they don't always give themselves credit for it. Some do, but then they feel like they're in this Eight of Wands energy here. And I know this is not, you wouldn't read this as a card of competition, would you? But I'm hearing competition with
Mm-mm.
this word. So I'm wondering if it's just because it's like in their own head that they're
Hmm.
competing with themselves over getting something done. And then I have this pets card here, which I, just like you, I don't read literally, I read intuitively. And I was hearing like pet project or
Hmm.
something that you're like, you've been just like babying it and nurturing it and being like, oh, I'm going to do this and like tweaking it. And you're not just actually pulling that lever and putting it out there in the way that you could. Maybe it's something you're already doing, but it's like going to the next level. Like you said, it's going to require some things that aren't that fun, but they're necessary. And it's, you're getting a little lost in the love for the thing that you have and not just doing the thing you have to do. Like I was also talking to some friends the other day about like you take your cat or your dog to the vet and they don't want to go. Like, you love them, you want them to get better, so you have to do the
Hmm.
thing of putting them in the carrier or in the car and like dealing with them being upset and having to be handled by a stranger just to get to the point where you have them healthy, you have a good bill of health for the thing you love. So I guess that's what we're kind of saying here is it's like, I don't know, it's like grimacing through it, but like trusting that it's worth it. And maybe if you really got clear, this
Mm.
I'm interested to hear what you say about the Eight of Wands, because for some reason this one is just not hitting me. I'm like looking at it as like your own. It feels like their own version of competition that's not even like actually there. Like they're surrounded by all these wands saying, "Oh, I can't do this," and it's like, no, you really can. So what is that? What's coming up for you with that? Because it's just interesting.
Yeah. Both the Eight of Wands and the High Priestess, like the Eight of Wands is that intense, laser like focus. All those wands are pointing in one direction.
Mm,
The High Priestess, there's a theory that she has her back to the world, and so she is shutting out the noise. She is, only focusing maybe on one thing. So,
mm-hmm.
I think maybe that's what you're picking up on, like
Yeah.
not listening to the noise that's going on
Right.
around you, and I
Ah.
think that could be important with that
Yeah.
card.
Yeah, that does resonate
Hmm.
because it's like, yeah, you've got this like this thing you're
Yeah.
nurturing, this pet thing, but it's like, let's figure out a way to, push through that energy and ignore it. All right, I love that for the Aquas. Let us know what you're working on, Aquas. All right, Pisces. What are you getting for Pisces for 2026, Chris?
Pisces, you have the Page of Cups, the Temperance card, and the Knight of Pentacles. I mean, time for Pisces to get started as well. Time to move forward, like no hesitation. I said in Pisces reading for the end of this year, basically, that they should probably start with a win, like we were talking about at the beginning of the year. I think starting off on the right foot for Pisces is the important thing. Like starting with a win, I think will literally set you up for the whole entire year. So I would pick something to have a victory with, probably something you've been hesitating on. The funny thing is, this came up in reverse. I don't read reversals, but it is interesting. It could be you be moving forward. I mean, something else is that. What's the word I'm looking for here? He's not logical, but he is whatever. Maybe it'll come back to me. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but it's like it's almost like having too much of a plan. I think would be not good for you, Pisces. I think you need to still be your like Pisces flexible, willing
Mm.
to go with the flow self, right? With that Knight of Pentacles, practical.
I was almost said
That's the word I was
practical.
looking for. Yeah. I think that there are like, yeah, it is weird because like I think there are moments where you are going to have to be very practical, and there are moments where having those crazy Neptunian dreams or ideas will also be very beneficial. And so, definitely something to think about. I also think commitment is important for Pisces because same thing with like the star card. He's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out on the
Mm.
temperance card. It's like you need to be all the way in to
Mm.
something here, Pisces. And also, it's like time. I think maybe all this year you've been thinking about doing things you haven't done, but the path exists. This is the path to glory. He could just go claim his crown. There's nothing more to be perfect, or there's nothing more that he has to work on. He just has to go.
Right. Yeah, that resonates. I've got the Two of Fire card here for the Pisces for 2026, the Eight of Cups, and the
Mm,
Love Heals Fear card for it, which I love for the Pisces, because I agree with you. I think a lot of Pisces have been reviewing things, thinking about things that they wish they'd started sooner or wish they had started this year. And there's a feeling of boredom, a little bit of a feeling of I'm ready to this next chapter. I'm ready to move on with something. In 2025, I was getting a lot of messages around Pisces needing to get out and meet new people because they just don't know who they don't know yet. There's people that are meant to come into their lives to help them on this new journey. And this Two of Fire card, I think, validates that, just continuing down that path of pushing yourself to get out of your comfort zones and try new things and surround yourself with new people. And you're really going to find the love for this adventure there. And like you said, it's not that big of a trek. It's like, it's not across the country. It's, 2 miles down the road, and you just haven't really put the energy into understanding what it is that you want to do to see that, oh, this is right here available to me now. And then eventually it leads you on a trek across the country to meet new people and do new things. So I think there's new partners and new people wanting to come into your life in this year. And your fears that you have around this change, the love for it is just going to dissolve it. You're going to be surprised, it seems like, at how easy it really is once you move on from the old way of thinking and not acting, if that makes sense. Does that resonate with you with the Two of Fire and the Eight of Cups?
Yeah, I kind of wonder if like the issue for Pisces is like how much time something is going to take, thinking that something is going to take, all this time or not wanting to waste time. I mean, I do think, maybe Saturn causes those fears of time. Even that card said love on it. And what popped into my head was love. It's like, maybe some of you are worried about love, like a person and worried like, oh, I've spent all this time, investing in relationships in the past and wasted time. But it's like, that's the fear I would let go of.
Yeah. And it's never really a waste of time because there were lessons in that.
You learned something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what Saturn is too. It's the taskmaster. It's the teacher. It wants you to learn. It's actually supporting you. But like you said, it's like, oh, I wasted time. And Saturn wanted you to have that time wasted. So you would say, I don't want this in the future, or I do. So I really like that. I feel like you're going to have to let us know, Pisces, who are these new people you're doing projects with or meeting or just getting out there. Because I really like this Tiger energy too in this card for you guys. It just feels like knowing you have these things you want to do, and you're drawing on that Tiger energy to get out there and dissolve the fears there. So I love that for the Pisces. All righty. Well, we're going to do our bonus reading here now. Just a quick reminder, definitely go subscribe if you haven't already to Minnow Pond Tarot, and go listen to Chris's 2 sets of 2026 readings. They really helped me with mapping out the things I'm going to start my year with. And like I said, I always listen to all 12 signs that he has because you never know what resonates. Check out chrisreck.com as well, and his Chris Reck channel. He has taught me so much about doing things online, whether you're ready to get started with a podcast, writing that book, even if it's just something, a personal hobby you need to get started with. Chris is great at helping you find that motivation, get organized, and get started. And he has a great, amazing community of people who will support you too. I love all the people that you have in your community, Chris. They support each other, and they're like-minded. They're like, I want to be motivated. We're all here to share our gifts with the world. And you always say this on your channel, Chris. You're like, I want everybody to succeed. And that really comes through in all the work you do. So thank you so much for everything you share with all of us. I really appreciate it. It's been a big help to me, and it's always a joy to work with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So before we jump, also, I said that before we jump into our bonus messages, I just want to remind you, I also have a free gift for you for 2026. You can sign up at the link below for my free event on December 30th. It is going to be on Zoom at 11 a.m. Central. If you can't make it live, no problem. All you have to do is sign up, and you will get the replay right in your email box. I had a lot of people say that last month when we did the numerology one, that their time zones are different, and I love hearing where you all tune in. So don't worry, you will get it. And I also have another surprise gift for you that I'll be talking about within the event. So just check out that link below. I'd love to see you there. We're going to be talking about how to handle this transformation energy of going from a 9-year into a 1 year, and I will have some messages for you for the new year as well. All right, thank you for your patience with that, and let's jump into this bonus reading. Chris, what are you getting for the collective for 2026? What else do we need to know?
Yeah, we have the Three of Swords, the Six of Swords, and Wheel of Fortune. So pretty good. Three of Swords has come up a lot at the end of the year here, so I do think it's a good time for healing, especially
Mm.
With Neptune leaving Pisces. Like, Neptune dissolves things, or so dissolving like through forgiveness, I think would be a good thing with the Three of Swords. Forgiving
Mm.
past situations, even forgiving yourself would be good. We are entering into a very new time, I believe. I mean, I think, I've talked about it before that, if you believe the two Earth theory, I think we're already in the new one. So,
Mm.
it's like we're already there. So you might as well kind of act like it. I do feel also like end of Pluto and Capricorn, Pluto and Aquarius, technically, yeah, that was last year or whatever, or the beginning of this year. But, Pluto retrograded right to the beginning. And, I think of that cusp right there, Capricorn and Aquarius. It's like maybe we're being asked to kind of like go back to the drawing board, start something new, completely let go of all the things that are established in our life, which is sometimes I think that's maybe the scariest part of Pluto going from Capricorn to Aquarius. It's like you've built something for 20 years. And now it's like you have to go build something new. It's a little bit nerve wracking. So, I think that's where we are with that. But it'll probably change your fortunes. So, I think
Mm.
that doing the work will change your fortunes. And yeah, I think we could be in a very fortunate time, not an unfortunate time. But again, it's like, my thing. I think we're in a time of chaos, like I always say. But I also think we have a choice.
Mhm.
I think if we do this, things will go well. I think if we let the robots take over, I'm just going to keep ending my messages with that for you, Devin. At this time, if we let that happen, we're going to have a really hard time.
All right. Well, I say let's not let that happen. We've got the Chariot
No.
card here. We've got the Hierophant card, and then we have the One Step at a Time card. So it definitely resonates
Mm,
with a lot you're saying. I think this Chariot card is really talking about the old era we're leaving behind. Like I said, we're ending a
hmm
9 year cycle in numerology this year. We're moving on to something new. Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, Uranus and Gemini. It's different, different, different. Like you said, with AI, it's just a whole new world. I was watching a show the other day where the parents were taking their kid to visit a college, and he was like, why would I go to college in 3 years? AI is going to take all our jobs anyways. And the
Yeah.
parents were kind of like, well, you're not wrong. Like even the
Yeah.
parents are like, well, do it for the life experience, kid. And so, but we are like leaving behind a new thing. But also, I liked what you were saying about like you have a choice because with this
hmm
Hierophant card here, I feel like, take the classes that interest you and teach
hmm
the things that you're passionate about. That's where we have the ability to have a little control, especially with the One Step at a Time card. I feel like it's like we're not going to really have the complete picture of how things are going to
hmm
look on the other end of this, but we can take little snapshots every day of how the energy is and what can we do about it today. And I think
hmm
that's like I said, taking classes that excite you, things that even if you think like I feel one of the big themes we've had is for 2026 that I've seen in my readings is a lot of you that are already doing intuitive work, your astrologers, your light workers,
hmm
everybody out there, you haven't even seen the beginning. Like it's just the tip of the iceberg of how needed you are moving into this energy. And for those of you who've been thinking about it, like maybe you're like, maybe I should take an astrology class or learn about numerology or become a reader for something. The things that have held you back, like what are my family going to think? What's my church going to think? What are the people around me going to think? They're just not going to bother you anymore. You're going to be like,
hmm
I'm tired of caring what everybody thinks about this. I want to go learn this. And so we're going to see a lot of the belief systems dissolve. You're going to see people holding on to them desperately, but they're going to get left behind. And those of you that are willing to just one step at a time, do the work that you need to do. It doesn't have to be anything regarding that type of thing, but we are going into this just new level of intuition and communication. Telepathy is becoming an all-time high. It's going to go even higher. And you're already here tuning in. So take those classes and then teach the things you already know about it to those around you. And I really think you're going to see that transformation. Did anything come up for you with those messages?
Yeah, and randomly, what popped into my head as well is the Wheel of Fortune. It's like I said, it can be a little bit scary. We have the snake here.
Mm-hmm.
Snakes represent our fears. Snakes are guardians of portals. So again, it is like a very empty energy energy.
Hmm.
And so, that could be where the fear is coming from. It's like, are you really scared? Probably not. You're probably actually not scared. You're just feeling emptiness.
Right.
And, I think if people could realize that they would like fill it up with something that would, change their fortunes with the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, absolutely. And then picking things that you're building that skill on a daily basis will, I think, help you feel more protected too. I've heard you say that a lot in your 2026
Yeah.
readings on Minopon Tarot, picking something to do. One of the things that was really resonating me was like I've decided to take on a little bit of a new health routine that is a non-negotiable. Like I will
Yeah.
find a way to make it part of my daily routine. And even if it means not getting as much work done or giving up, a little TV time or whatever it is, giving up a little sleep time. And I think that's the one step at a time energy there too. And just trusting that, it is going to work out. Everything is all working out for us. We just can't see the big picture. And in the meantime, check in with us. We're all in this together. So definitely let us know in the comments. Yeah, exactly. Let us know in the comments what's your one step at a time that you're doing. We read every single one of your comments. Appreciate it when you like and share these videos. It helps both our channels. If you hit that subscribe button and comment below. And I just think that, it's an energy that is exciting. And, Chris, what you were saying about feeling like it may not feel like it really starts until March, that might actually end up being a blessing because we have to, get all our things in place. I've been getting so much energy around structure and being organized. Have you seen that too? The Emperor card a lot? Yeah.
Tons of stuff about structure. Weirdly enough, like a ton of butterflies, right? And I always think of butterfly energy as being very fragile. It's like we have
Yes.
to do something to make it stronger, right?
Hmm.
So, which would be structure. So
Hmm.
adding structure to things, I think, would be great.
Yeah, I love that, and it's definitely a card of transformation. I mean, butterflies are definitely part of
Yeah.
that idea is this gentle transformation and not being able to rush it. I know you talk about that a lot too. It's a
Yep.
transformation you can't rush. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great like visual for all of us going in to 2026. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe, but
Yeah.
it's like
It's
right here.
crazy.
But let's all put the butterfly emoji below because we're gonna embrace this energy. And Chris, I'm excited about the year. It's a different
Yeah, me
feeling
too.
than I had going into 2025. So, any last thoughts with 2026?
Not really. I love what you said about the non-negotiable. I'm going to think about that. I think
Hmm.
that's like it would be a really good thing for people to do. Have some sort of, you know, part of your routine or something that you do every single
Hmm.
day, no matter what.
Hmm.
I've kind of said that, so yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, you can let us know in the comments too if you want to say it out loud to have the support.
Yeah,
we'll all say what our non-negotiable is. Well, I really appreciate this, Chris. I always have such a blast when you come on the channel.
yeah, of
Thank you
course.
so much, and thank you to everybody that always comes and supports us. Definitely go support Minopon Tarot and ChrisReck.com, and we're gonna go through this transformation together. It's just a true
Hmm.
joy to be with all of you. So thank you again for being here, everybody. All right,
Thank you.
Chris. We'll see you next month, and we'll keep chatting about these energies. And I guess it's time to sign off. Bye, everybody.
Bye.